Right, let's keep everything bloody crossed for tonight. I don't want another night like last night. Thank you very much. Wave your willy around the caravan. Wave your willy around the caravan. Wave your willy around the caravan. Is it going to work? Oh, don't do it again. No, not again, not again. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, I think we might be okay. I think we might be okay, and thank God for that. And now I really can wave my willy around the caravan. Wave my willy around the caravan. Wave my willy around the caravan. Like I just don't care. Have a banana. And they can watch me wave my willy around the caravan. Oh, wave my willy around the caravan. Yes, excellent. You are there. Wonderful. Marvellous. Hello. And a very warm welcome to Thursday Night Live. And a very good, and a very warm welcome to February. It's February, darlings. We kicked January's ass, didn't we? And I've got the wrong thing. That's not the correct doings. Where's the proper doings? I demand the correct doings, otherwise I simply shan't start. Yes, here we are. We have made it through January. We're into February. It's a nice short month. And before you know it, it will be the 1st of March and St. David's Day. Best day of the year for me. Can't wait. Spring will be here. Wonderful things will start happening. Our hearts will be lifted. Our buttocks will be parted. And the world will just be a most excellent place, as it always is when you guys are there. Because you are absolutely wonderful. And I adore you, each and every one of you. I would like to squeeze you until you burp and tickle you until you wet yourselves. And at some point in this year, I shall do exactly that, possibly in a budget hotel. Who've I got? Steve Cole, good evening to you. Barry, that guy from SETI Alpha 5, who is on his laptop as he's currently working, and I mean this most sincerely, from home. Let's have a slurp, shall us? Cheers, darlings. Your very good health. Oh, that's welcome. Oh, there are two great things in life, aren't there? The first cup of coffee, well, I mean, there are more than two great things in life. I mean, there are two great things just on Pepsi. You don't even have to look elsewhere to find two great things, or at least they were great. Well, I mean, no offense to Pepsi, I'm sure they still are. I just haven't seen them recently. I'm painting myself into a corner there. I'm sure that Pepsi still has wonderful popsicles. I wouldn't doubt it, and you shouldn't either. But two of the best things in my life, anyway, it's not for me to speak for you. That's not, the first cup of coffee in the morning. Oh, how good is that? Oh, and the first sip of wine of an evening. Wonderful things. Life is hard. And, but there are things in it that make it wonderful. The feeling of sliding into lovely, freshly laundered pants, nice, freshly laundered pair of satin white ones. When there are things like that around, the world is a wonderful place. Jimmy Quinn is with us. Good evening, Boaty, and all. Good evening to you, Jimmy. Lord Stiff Upper Lip, hi Boaty, hello to you. The lovely Tracy, the Greenwood, one of our community channels, let's not forget. Evening all you non-lurgy people, how are we all tonight? And then she answers her own question by telling us how she is. I am still full of COVID, oh you poor guy, but the symptoms have eased and I am getting sleep. I'm glad to hear that. Barry says Karen, and that's his other half, is doing better today, so we'll see what happens Monday. We're all going to be keeping everything crossed. We really are. Will it be Monday for us, or will it be Sunday night, or even Tuesday morning? Because you are rather a long way away. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you both had a good day. Oh, and Trace managed to get a little work done today, so it's an improvement. Feeling a little raised temperature tonight, perhaps? You know, that's something that, have we talked about this? What do we all do for jobs? I mean, I know what some people do, but I don't think we've officially talked about it, have we? I mean, you all know what I do. I'm a great big show off. I hope I'm not a show off. I don't mean to be. I'm just hideously indiscreet and put far too much of my life on camera. I wonder if Boaty's buttons will work tonight and the stream will start on time. It's all good as far as I'm aware. Bad Books is here, good evening. Baddy Scrotter, good evening. Neil, aka the Gubernator, aka the very nice man. Hello all, how are we today? Hope we're all well and in good health. It's working, Bonnie lad, says Bedborough. Oh, I should have done that in a Geordie accent. Or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe that would have been racist. Or just, insulting, so I can't do a very good Geordie accent. Shall I have a go at one? Wait, we're in Bunny lad. Why, yes, Summy and Seabrook. Oh dear. It's Groundhog Day tomorrow, says Barry. Oh, Joe is here. Good evening, Jason and chat. Good evening to you. Arse, says Trace. I had no sound, had no idea what was happening. Lol. Oh, I can hear you. I clicked mute off. Oh, speaking of clicking things, I didn't select all messages. So I'll just go back to the beginning in case I've missed anything. No, I didn't miss that. I definitely didn't miss that. Didn't miss that. No, I didn't miss that. Well, I'm on a good day. Didn't miss that. Tracy said arse. Didn't miss that. Skick is here. Good evening, the boat, and a very good evening to you, Skick, Lord of the T-shirts and amusing books. Thank you for the bloody good laugh you've given us all, Skick, and will continue to do. That T-shirt is going to live on and create a lot of fun and comment, I'm sure. So thank you very much for that, because that is a gift. Not just for me, but for the for the entire community, and we're all very grateful. Jimmy says, "Hi, JC. Your card is looking good." That's Michael Jackson, of course. We're over 25. Thank you, says Joe. I cherish that car. I've done some work on Sheeson today. I replaced some bulbs. Oh, now here's the thing. So I stripped the doings out, got the rear light cluster out. And the tail light didn't look as if it had failed, the tail light bulb. So I left that in, took out the brake light bulb, which did look as if it had failed, replaced the brake light bulb, and the tail light bulb started working. So I don't know if that's a glitch or if they're like triggered together on the same circuit, so that if one bulb fails, they both do. But as far as I know, it's all working now. So I forgot to get my brake light checked, but we can do that another day. So I can. And I did other things today as well. I got up, I made coffee, I made lunch. Very nice it was too. Oh, excuse me. Barry, right. Where did I get to? Oh, John Stoodley, the lovely John. Evening chat, evening Boaty. Good evening to you. Hi, Jimmy, says Skick. Where's Cheeseburger? And Barry says, Cheeseburger left a nice comment on my video early. He's fine. So that's good. I say, says Ben. Sir Basil Nardley Stodes is broadcasting to the land of thine fathers and the rest of the commoners' wealth. Sir Basil Nardley Stodes. Yeah. We might see Sir Basil again. if I can remember the voice. I did slip into Alan Bennett, as somebody pointed out. And I knew I was doing it, which is why I did the Thora Heard and toasted macaroon line. I quite fancy doing one as Patrick Moore. Anybody remember Patrick Moore? Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Stars at Night. Now, this would be a brilliant feature if all of you were Radio 4 nuts, but I don't think any or many of you are. Now, I am massively into Just a Minute. And if I was with a certain group of my chums, this would be a great feature. I don't know if it'll work with you guys. But I'll ask it anyway, just in case. Who are your favourite non-regulars and like really out there people that have appeared on Just a Minute over the last 70 years? And Sir Patrick Moore was one of mine. Patrick Moore did 2 episodes of Just a Minute, believe it or not. And he was brilliant. He was really good at the game. He was really funny. And I'm really cold and I forgot to go and turn the heating up. So I'm going to go and do that now. Yeah, I love Patrick Moore on Just a Minute. The man clearly had a wonderful and very dry sense of humour. Who else did I like of the non-regulars? Bernard Cribbins was great. Willie Rushton was brilliant. And we're talking about the non-regulars. Obviously, there were the regulars that were there all the time. Stephen Fry kind of became a bit of a regular, so we can't count him. Who else was I thinking of? There was somebody that Lorraine Chase was a laugh. Lorraine Chase was the first person to challenge themselves and get a point on Just a Minute, which was brilliant. And a lot of people started doing that afterwards. God, I'm trying to think now. It'll come back to me, but I probably shouldn't talk. I'm getting paranoid now about talking for too long without reading a comment or talking about something thinking, oh my goodness, I hope this isn't uninteresting to anybody and they shout at me for, oh dear. Sir Basil Nardley Stodes. Evening all, says Chris McGuire. Oh, Chris McGuire, I apologise. And well done to the one person, I'm sure others of you spotted it as well, but well done to the one person who did spot and comment on where the name Sir Basil Nardley Stodes came from. And it was a toss-up. It was, and they both came from the same place. It was either going to be Sir Basil Nardley Stodes or Sir Arthur Strebe Griebling. And I settled on Basil. But Sir Arthur Strebe Griebling may make an appearance at some point. Sir Arthur really needed to be in a two-hander because for the full effect, somebody would need to call me, introduce me as Sir Arthur Griebling. Because, right, if you know, you know. If you don't know, don't worry about it and don't expect that to make sense. Sophie, the lovely Sophie Richardson, be back in 5 minutes break. Hello all. I'm sorry to be late. There was football. Oh, God, football. Well, the big news of today, of course. Am I allowed to talk about Formula One, or is that going to annoy somebody? Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. Over to you. What do you think about it? Massive news, massive surprise. Last thing that I was expecting. No, I won't tell you what I think. I'll tell you later on. I met. Right. Okay. Barry is 6 hours behind UK time. Trisha Alderman is with us. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Trisha. Ivor Boaty is here. A very good evening, Boaty and everyone, and a jolly good evening to you. Bad Books met David James, the footballer, today. Never heard of him. Bit embarrassing, as he wouldn't care who I am, and I hate football. He lives near Wisbeach for some reason. I wouldn't know a footballist if one kicked me in the nuts. I can name a few footballists. Peter Shilton, Trevor Francis, the first £1 million player, Viv Anderson, the first black player to play for England, and that's about it. Oh, that French guy that does the really funny TV adverts. What's his name? Gerard Depardieu. That's him. Who else? That goalkeeper fellow, Gordon Blank. Blankety Blank. That was a good show. Feature number 7. Who was your favourite host of Blankety Blank? I'm trying to remember who did it now. There was, it started out with Wogan, of course, didn't it? And was it Les Dawson then? And then I miss Lily Savage. Lily Savage was brilliant. I'd love to have met her. Feature number 12. Who is your favourite pretend woman? Can you say that? Are you allowed to say that in this day and age? You know what I mean? Drag act, whatever the politically correct term is now. I mean, who is there to choose from? Lily Savage was brilliant. Dame Edna, you've got to love Dame Edna, sadly gone. Hinge and Bracket. Somebody used to accuse me and Mustard of being the modern day equivalent of Hinge and Bracket, which I took as a massive compliment. Tricky chap's words. Oh, it was Dr. Evadne Hinge and was it Dame Hilda Bracket? Brilliant. Anyway, but there you are. That's feature number 23. The bizarre thing of COVID, says Trace, is, and this is in capital letters for emphasis, no sense of smell. So I'm sorry if I stink, but I can't tell. So, oh dear, how sad, never mind, which is, of course, a wonderful Windsor Davis meme. Oh dear, how sad, never mind. I mean, you shouldn't need to be able to smell to know if you stink, because you know when you last had a wash. I mean, okay, if you've not had a shower for 48 hours, then you might think, I wonder if I stink, and have a sniff. And if you've not had a shower for a week, then you know you're going to stink. And if you had a shower a couple of hours ago, the chances are you're not going to stink. Even if you've been sweating like a dray horse. Now, one of the first things I was taught when I started working in my mother's nursing home, not out of choice, I was forced labour, was that hygiene is essential when working in terms of personal care or nursing, but that if you're working hard and you're sweating, don't worry about it, because fresh sweat doesn't smell. It's only stale sweat that smells. And Neil, who is the expert. Now, I didn't know that Neil was an expert on bodily secretions, but he proved himself to be in a somewhat unlikely venue. Neil, in a cheap hotel room in the Travelodge Seafront Hotel in Rhyl, Denbighshire, North Wales, proved himself to have an encyclopedic knowledge of everything that comes out of the human body. And his specialist area of expertise is secretions from the human body in the area of the private Bermuda Triangle, meat and two veg, Bisto gravy type scenario area. I hope that wasn't too graphic, and I hope I didn't offend anybody. But I had no idea that Neil was an expert on that sort of thing. But he proved himself so to be during a very memorable live stream that I'm sure we've all forgotten. I am retired, says Jimmy Quinn, and that's in answer to feature 4A, which was, if you recall, what do we all do for a living? Good feature, that. So somebody take notes so that when I ask this again, because the early onset alcohol-induced dementia has kicked in, and I just start doing the same live stream every night. Somebody take notes, and then you can remind me. Joe hopes that we've all had a good day. That's rather lovely, and we hope you have as well, Joe. We care deeply about you, dear boy, and once again, congratulations on your new job, and congratulations on a brilliant start to, oh God, your weight loss journey. Sorry, that's wank word bingo. Does anybody, feature number 43, does anybody else play wank word bingo, where you have a thing of wank words and you tick them off? And I'm sorry, but weight loss journey is one of those wank phrases, if not wank word. But that's, the point is that Joe is going through a process of shedding some bulk, and he deserves to be bloody well applauded for that. So good on you, Joe, and that job won't have help in, well, did in my experience anyway. Trace says, I get paid for pissing on the internet. It's been a great job for over 20 years. Is that an OnlyFans thing, I suppose? God, your poor partner, does he have to be involved? Or do you have, do you employ people to be, well, I think the technical term is golden shower, isn't it? But what an interesting way to earn a living. And I suppose, Trace, that explains why you're nearly always naked, or very nearly naked, because I suppose that whenever I don't know how OnlyFans or whichever platform you use works, but I presume that you get a ping or an alert that somebody has paid 20 quid or whatever it is you charge, and you have to go and perform. So I imagine that being already naked or near naked will make it a lot more of an efficient process. And I imagine you must drink lots of water or tea or liquids anyway, because, well, I mean, I presume that you do it on a very professional basis. And, well, I mean, I don't know, Trace. I mean, does it happen like that ad hoc, where you could be called upon to perform at any time? Or do people book appointments? Or, sorry, I'm being thick here. Maybe you don't do that at all. Maybe it's not a one-on-one personal thing. Maybe you just make videos, in which case you could obviously prepare for that filming session, and then the video goes up, and again, presumably on an OnlyFans thing where it's behind a paywall, and people, do you do it in different places, or do you always do it at home? I would imagine there would be more money in, Blot Outdoors, who I love watching. Well, Blot earns jolly good money and a lot of subscribers and has a very successful channel by stealth camping and wild camping. So, wild camping is when you go out into the arse end of nowhere and do your tenting, and stealth tenting is when you tent in, try and tent stealthily in areas where you wouldn't expect somebody to tent, like just outside a prison or, on a motorway island or something like that. So, do you do that sort of thing, Trace? Like stealth piddling and wild piddling? I would imagine there must be probably really good money in that. I mean, it's none of our business, so feel free to tell me to mind my own. But, I mean, just like we have community YouTube channels, I guess we have community um, pro- 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 professions. That's what I was working towards. And I put mine out there. You all know that I work in a restaurant, and some of you have been kind enough to come and spend your money in the restaurant. So, as a community, I guess we should support each other's professions. So, if any of you would like to watch a video of our friend Trace uh, doing her thing, then well, I'm sure Trace will give us some links to follow to where we can enjoy the fruits of her labour, as it were. Uh, Same circuit, mate, says Neil. And Joe says, on the same circuit, mate. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. So brake light and tail light. Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Welcome to Boaty's Maiden Burp, says Trace. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you, Boaty. Packing my bag tomorrow. So excited, says Soph. How did that gobshite get on television? I'm looking forward to it as well. Where are you staying on Monday night? Soph, Neil, are you staying at the Premier Inn in Mill Row? And how much was it? If you don't mind me asking. Well, I could just do a search and find out how much it is now. Um, I've had a crazy day, says Sophie, running around after my sister's dog. Oh, okay, thank you, Neil. Running around after my sister's dog all around the street. So, yeah, been a mad day. I still feel a bit anxious today about Monday, Boaty, says John. Don't worry, we'll work it all out. It'll be grand. Neil, so we might have to rejig the day a bit so that we can take John up and bring him back home. We need a bit of a contingency plan there. So we just need to work out timings and whatnot, because you've got an idea where John is. I haven't got a clue. But John, don't worry, we'll make it happen. Don't you worry about that. Sales rep, says Bad Books. Oh, right, back onto professions. I sell plug plants to wholesale nurseries and garden centres. I don't know what plug plants are, but I mean, they can't be plants that one uses as a plug, surely. I'm sure it's a botanical term, and I am not a botanist or a botanist. Well, I'm a bit of a botanist, I suppose. I do like a bum. I've always been a bum man rather than a boobs man. Uh, oh, lovely. Raid of the year. Raid of the year was never a. I never agreed with the decision making there. Annika Rice should never have been Raid of the year. Neither should Felicity Kendall. I like a more athletic bottom. But, each to their own. As the old lady said when she kissed the cow. Have a great live chat, everyone. Says, I was spotty ta-da for now. Yeah, he's got to get off for work. Thank you for popping in, Andrew. Lovely to see you. Oh, hold on. Right, I missed that. Hang about. Bear with. I'm not sure, Neil. It's all a bit up in the air, mate. I need to figure it out. Just as long as I know where you are, because obviously, if I'm taking John home, um, then that's going to be a bit different, isn't it? Although I suppose I could always just double back up the motorway. I'll figure it out when I've got my head on tomorrow. Um, I need to figure out where you are, where he is, the best way to. Yeah, it's all easy enough. I mean, we're only talking about a couple of miles. We've got motor vehicles, and it's just moving some of us from one place to another, isn't it? But I did think it might be fun to get together for a drinky or something. So, okay, now I know where you are. I'll have a look at the prices and whatnot. And see if I can figure out the logistics of all the doings. Barry Scrotter moves trailers for a parcel company, but has also been a bin man and a windscreen fitter for 12 years. Moving trailers for a parcel company. Oh, okay. Oh, that's why you talk about the yard then. So I presume you mean like articulate trailers for articulated lorries, yeah? So does that mean that, and if you were a bin man as well, does that mean that you're one of those clever HGV drivers? You must be, I guess, if you're moving trailers about, unless you're pulling them about by hand. And they're quite big things, really, aren't they? I mean, they're not like trailer tents, which can move by hand. Joe says, oh, Joe's wishing us all a lovely day at the yard. That's very kind. Trey says, no one shouted at you for going on too long, Boaty. We basically go yawn, corpse swap, or yawn bye. And that's what happened the other night. Yeah, I know. I know that's what happened the other night. And just do what you want in lives, and your audience will switch in and out as they feel fit. Simple. Yeah, I agree with that. It was the comment afterwards mentioning that I should engage with the audience more, and that nobody wants to listen to me do a what? How is it termed? Not dialogue, monologue. Yeah. Hamilton joins Ferrari. Great. A driver I hate and a team I hate, says Barry. Oh, hello. Sean is here. Can't sleep, so I thought I'd tune in. The lovely Sean. And Sean, commiserations on your friend. I watched your video, well, it's not the most recent one, is it? The most recent one was your shop. The one before was the little tribute to Rusty, the allotment cat, and I thought I can't watch this. I can't watch this. It's going to break me. And I watched it, and I cried buckets. So deepest sympathies. He certainly seemed to be an amazing friend to you over the years. And I thought the little tribute that you put together to him with all of the clips from over the years, I thought that was absolutely lovely. And I'll tell you the truth, I thought, YouTuber's mind kicking in. I thought this is going to end with the clip from the last allotment video you did before moving to Wales, and it's going to end with the pause and the look back. And I thought, I can't watch that again. It broke me last time, and that was while Rusty was still with us. I thought, I can't watch it now. It's going to absolutely. So I thought, I'll turn it off. I kept an eye on the little bar at the bottom, and I thought, I know it'll be the ending. It's the obvious ending. It would be wrong to have ended it with anything else. So I thought, I'll stop just short of that, and I won't watch it. And I did. I stopped. I turned it off, wiped my eyes, and then thought, no, got to be done. pressed the button, watched it, fell apart. Oh, God. Oh, dear. But lovely to have you with us. And for those who don't know, check out the YouTube channel, Sean James Cameron. You won't regret it. Joe says, "Oh yeah, you two definitely need to catch up. The four of us need to catch up. Um, well, let's start planning the first us trip of the year. We could do another North Wales. We could head more towards Barmouth Way, maybe somewhere else on the coast. And I definitely need to come down to Devon Way. There are people that I need to see there. There's Cuff Uncle in his restaurant in Exeter that used to be my local pub when I lived in Rockbear, just outside Exeter. I need to catch up with my friend Franny down in Torquay. I need to renew my acquaintanceship with the with Oddicombe Bay and the Babacoombe Cliff Railway. You know how obsessed I am with the Funicular Railway. And I'm still toying with this year being the year that within one spring, summer season, I do every single funicular in the UK. Not sure if the finances will be up to it this year, might be more of a next year thing, but you never know. And who knows? Maybe there is a worldwide community of funicular railway geeks. And if I made, well, obviously I would make videos about them. God knows I make videos about everything I bloody do, don't I? There's not a single part of my life that you poor sods haven't been subjected to. So maybe if I were to do some videos on funicular railways, I would tap into a rich biodiversity system of wonderful funicular geeks who would all subscribe and watch and tell their families to watch and become channel members and all of that sort of wonderful thing. And it would become a self-financing thing. That's kind of the phrase I was looking for. I just love funicular. Okay, feature number 37B or whatever we're up to. I've done this before, haven't I? What's your favourite funicular railway? Or which ones have you not done that you would like to do? There are lots that I haven't done. It's amazing I've never done Aberystwyth because that, being a good Welsh boy, that's kind of my local one. And it is the longest funicular in the UK. And to the best of my knowledge, I've never even been to Aberystwyth, which is really very surprising. I would have thought my grandparents would have dragged me there at some point during my childhood, but I certainly don't recall it. Is that the only one in Wales? Is that the only funicular in Wales? Gosh, I think it actually might be. I mean, it depends on your definition of funicular, of course. I mean, you've got the Snowdon Mountain Railway, but that is technically a rack and pinion railway, I think. You've got the Great Orme Tramway, which I adore more than anything. But then technically and officially, that is a cable-hauled tramway. So I think Aberystwyth might be the only actual funicular. And funiculars kind of make more sense when they're at seaside, which is where one tends to find cliffs, like, Babacoombe heading down into Oddicombe Bay, or like so many others. I quite like the funiculars that pop up in what might be termed an unexpected space, like the one in Bridge North heading between Lowtown and Hightown. And God, I'm trying to think of some others of that ilk. And now I can't remember any other funicular that I've actually been on. My favorite funicular would probably be what's set to reopen next month, Neil? That's a bit of a non sequitur. But oh, what Great Orme? Oh, Bridge North. I didn't realise Bridge North was closed. To be honest. Oh well, there you are. Thanks for that. Yeah, my favourite funicular would probably be Monte Gueldo. That's kind of my favourite everything. I've banged on about it loads in the past. It's my favourite hotel in the world, the Hotel Monte Gueldo, San Sebastian. It's not the best hotel that I've ever been to. That would be probably the Hilton in Dubai. It's not the flashiest hotel I've ever been to. That would probably be the Bellagio in Vegas. It's not even the most romantic hotel I've been to. That would be Lake Vyrnwy in mid Wales. But it's just my favourite because it's just amazing. I mean, as hotels go, I mean, it's a hotel in the Accor group, and it falls under the Mercure brand. So it's not even the top of the range. But it is, oh, Google it or look at my old pictures. It's wonderful. And that is probably the one and only thing on my bucket list. One day I want to cobble together enough money so that I can, one last time, I want to do the road trip I used to do with my mum before I was taken poor, every September down the coast of France, across into the Basque Country, into San Sebastian. I want to do that one last time, take mum with me and scatter as we go in the stopover spots that we always used to stop at. And then the last bit in our parking spot up on top of Monte Gueldo, outside the hotel. One day I'll do it, darlings. One day I will do it. And if it looks like I've caught something horrible and I'm on the verge of coughing it or falling off the twig, I'll flog the cars and I'll do it then while I still can. You know, touch wood, we'll battle on for a year or two yet before that kicks in. Where did I get to? Diddly-do. Oh, David James was the first Black England goalie. Oh, well, there you are. Thank you, Neil. I hear you're a footballist now, Father. I'm not sure if it helps or hurts my YouTube doing the fact that I'm a minister of the church. I mean, it certainly amuses you lot, so it probably helps. And I'm sure some of you still don't believe it. Mustard had an argument with somebody. Or was it an argument with somebody in real life? Or was it on the phone, or was it actually on a video that we did it? I can't remember. But Mustard did say, look, I have actually seen his certificate of ordination. He really is a reverend. Oh, dear. Favorite pretend woman has to be Dame Edna. Oh, Dame Edna was just fantastic, wasn't she? No, they don't, Barry, and I'm not reading that out. Sean says the first celebrities I worked with were Hinge and Bracket. Well, that's quite the claim to fame, isn't it? No, it wasn't, Barry. Barry, are you trying to... I'm not reading that out. John says Lewis Hamilton said he would finish his career at Ferrari. So I think 3 years at most, then he will retire, Boaty. Well, he's knocking on. Lewis is 39 at the moment, which obviously, to somebody of my advanced years, means that he's a fetus. But certainly in sporting terms, or F1 terms, he is knocking on a bit. Although he's going to be another Alonso, isn't he? He's going to be able to go on into his early 40s. I mean, the man is, like him or loathe him. I like him. I know that you loathe him, many of you. But the man is a genius. There's no working around that. And I'm delighted that he's gone to Ferrari. I'm delighted for him personally. It's kind of the pinnacle and a dream for any racing driver. I'm delighted for F1 and for the fans because everything looks so staid and solid. so many drivers contracted long term now, and so many of the top drivers contracted to different teams that we really needed a bit of a shake-up. Now, Ferrari over the last couple of years have been more competitive than Mercedes. The same might well be true next year. So to see him in a more competitive car, to see him with a really, well, he was already with a really talented teammate, but it's just going to be great. I think it's going to be fantastic for F1, great for him, great for the fans. I think that he might work wonders with Ferrari because obviously Hamilton has got a highly personal agenda of trying to use the platform that he has for change, or at the very least to raise awareness. And Ferrari have not really been into that. Mercedes very much have. And no doubt, part of his contract with Ferrari will be that they are willing to go along with that. And I think that that can only be good because Ferrari are the highest profile name in their ilk or their niche. Well, it's not a niche, is it? And if they start pushing certain agendas, then as far as I'm concerned, that's all to the good. And whilst I know a lot of you looked askance or even took offence at what a lot of Lewis backed, the taking the knee, etc., I was very, very much in favour, as I'm in favour of anything that that opens up avenues to ethnic minorities that were not open before. Again, like him or loathe him, you can't deny that the man has been a trailblazer in that department. Anyway, enough of F1. Diddly-do. Feature 48, says Barry. I investigate false insurance claims and offer insurance to those who actually need it in a hospital. Ah, that's interesting. That's interesting. And I think we would all applaud you for that, wouldn't we? Because false insurance claims are not a victimless crime. They don't just cost the insurance company, because the insurance company passes the cost on to the rest of us. So by stamping out those false claims, you're helping us all. And I bet you could tell some really interesting stories about that, because I'm sure you've come across some incredibly professional ones. I imagine, I might be wrong, I imagine you've come across some claims where you've suspected or known in your water that are false, but you've not been able to prove it. And I guess you've come across some idiotically unprofessional, obvious ones. Oh, Sabana's here, the lovely Sabana. Hey, yo, Jason, how are you, mate? I'm good. Tell me about you. Sabana is obviously the guy from the restaurant who is now the guy from another restaurant. So tell me, how's it going? How's it going at Gurkha Palace, Sutton in Ashfield, folks? If you're in Sutton in Ashfield, get your bums down to Gurkha Palace. You will be served by the lovely Sabana and Bikas, and they're just the nicest people. And they've got a really good menu. I really like their menu, actually. Hope you're doing some good business, young man. Barry says, I'm with George Carlin. I don't do soft language. Weight loss journey equals fighting the flab. Whatever. I work Oh, skick. I work part-time for the peace process. Being kind, not insulting people, and most of all, not being outspoken are some of the things that we practice. And they're jolly good things to practice, I would say. It still hurts to laugh, says Trace, and I'm laughing out loud at your knowledge of OnlyFans. And no, it's called water sports these days. Keep up, Grandad. Ben says, "Hi, Sabana. I fear Ripley is falling to pieces without you. Come back and rescue Jason. I hope the new restaurant is going well, Ben." We're coping. We're coping. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. If you're not a channel member, if you're a channel member, you will have seen the most recent daily diary video that was done exclusively in the restaurant, and I introduced you to a couple of people, including Savannah's replacement. If you're not a channel member, then you will be able to see it at lunchtime tomorrow. And I can tell you this, my lovelies, if you are the kind of person who enjoys watching a fat old man poke a beautiful young waitress with an umbrella that a customer left in the restaurant, you're in for a treat. Oh, yes. Jimmy Quinn says, I used to see Bobby Moore most mornings when I went to school. He had a sports shop. He said to me, most mornings you're late again. And he made me even later chatting to me as he was a lovely man. Oh, that's nice. I'm not reading that out, Barry. You should be ashamed of yourself. Barry says, oh, and Barry goes on to say something that I can read out. Who saw my latest video? I know Jimmy and Cheesy did. I've not caught it yet. Ben says Hamilton has alluded to driving a Ferrari in the past. Also, I wonder if Toto is maybe moving or changing roles, which would also be a factor in Lewis's decision making. I wondered that. I wondered if Toto had already arranged to go to the FIA, and that would indeed be a big factor for Lewis, because I would imagine he feels an enormous gratitude to Toto and an enormous connection with him, and he wouldn't have made that decision easily if Toto was still in situ. So we shall see. It's going to be a really interesting year. It throws some spanners into the mix. So who's going to get the seat at Mercedes? Where is Carlos Sainz going to go? Loads of questions to answer. I'm so looking for. When's the first Grand Prix? Is Bahrain, isn't it? And I think that's at the end of this month, isn't it? So we're on the threshold when it comes to sport, my loves. We've got the undisputed heavyweight clash this month. We've got the relaunch of Formula One for the 2024 season. We've got a phone that's pinging left, right, and centre. Sorry, bear with. This is work. Oh, I can't bloody reply to that. Oh, I suppose I can now, can't I? We've been a bit late in finalising the Valentine's Day menu. Oh, God, sometimes I get so frustrated. And after 2 weeks of buggering about going forwards and backwards, they've decided to go with what I wanted to do 2 weeks ago. Oh, so annoying. Because you're losing out on potential bookings, and it's when you've announced that you're putting on a special Valentine's Day menu, 5 courses, champagne, blah, 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 and people ask what the specific menu is, it's a bit embarrassing when you can't actually tell them what the hell's going on here. Ah, there we are. And what I said 2 weeks ago was, look, we'll do champagne on arrival. We'll do canapé, poppadoms and pickle course, and then I said just give a free range of starter and main course, and then we'll do Nepali rice pudding or gulab jamun with ice cream for dessert. Make it easy for ourselves. And they didn't want to do that. But now they do want to do that. So it's just 2 weeks of marketing time that I could have used wasted. So there we are. Barry Scrotter is asking Barry, that guy from SETI Alpha 5, what his channel name is. And it's the same as the Scream name. It is. That guy from SETI Alpha 5. Oh, Trisha. Trisha cried for Rusty as well. Oh, God. I didn't know that you watched Sean as well, Trish. But, oh, God, it was... See, the thing was, if you're not emotional yourself anyway, then I think it's natural for any normal human being, unless you're a sociopath, when you see another human being become emotional, then it's kind of natural that empathically you tune in with that. And so when Sean started getting it, oh God, it was, and I guess that some people might think that, don't overegg the pudding sort of thing. But I've lost all of my family. I've lost my parents, my siblings, everybody, all gone. Only me left. And Helen, my cousin. I think technically she's a second cousin, but she's still there. Might be watching this, actually. She does tune in. Bless her. We do need to catch up, Hel. But the times that I've really lost it have been when I've lost pets. But I can't talk about that, can I? Because I'll get told off again. So I totally understood that, and it was oh dear, yeah. But there we are. Bad Book says plug plants are seedlings and cuttings, which nurseries plant in pots and packs and grow on until they're ready to sell. Steve Nespal is with us from across the Atlantic. Tracy has subscribed to Sean James Cameron. Thank you for being here, Sean, and thanks to Boaty for shouting you out. My pleasure. As you know, I like to share what I love with those that I love in the hope that you will love it too. And I love Sean's channel. I'm new to it. I've only found it by accident about 3 weeks ago, and I'm hooked beyond belief. And I know that, many of us, we are simpatico, and I know that if I like something, there's a good chance that quite a lot of you will like it too. So I always watch out for your recommendations, and I always hope that you will get some pleasure from mine. Diddly-do. My ambition this year is that me and my son catch a fish over 4 pounds, 6 ounces. We're about a year into our fishing journey. Well, good luck with that. I've been on the Aberystwyth Funicular Railway myself many times. I'm amazed that was Sean. I'm amazed that I haven't, and I'm amazed that I've never been there. I did think about going to university there because I understand that Aberystwyth has an excellent reputation for law, which is, of course, where my career was planned to go, until it went in entirely different directions. Barry, that guy from SETI Alpha 5. I'm a fan of Peak Rail, me too. Ecclesbourne Valley Railway, me too, both just down the road. And I'm paying attention to what Great Central are doing to rejoin the line between Nottingham and Leicester. There's a channel called Earwash Valley Rail. I've been on that. Now, Boo, before we started our life together in Matlock Bath, Boo lived a hop and a step from the station on the bottom line on whatever that line's called. I can't remember now. But if you didn't know, that is the line that the Top Gear thing was filmed on. Do you remember when Top Gear did their car train thing, where the trains were pulled by, I think it was an Audi S6 and a Jaguar XJS Cabriolet? That was the line that it was actually filmed on. So I have been on that, spent quite a lot of time there. Yeah, there we are. There's a nice funicular railway, says John Maruzzi, between, oh God almighty, oh, the light's too bad for this small text, between Montecatini Terme and Montecatini Alto in Tuscany. I rode up the road to the top on my Tomasini 8-speed last autumn. Well, I am familiar with the brand Tomasini, of course. They were quite the name in the 1980s. But I will take you up on your description of having an 8-speed Tomasini. I don't think you did. I think that what you mean is you had an 8-speed block on it, or cassette, as it would actually be. In this day and age, used to be a block. It's what we used to call a freewheel. Now they're a cassette fitting up. Oh, I won't talk to you about that. But bear in mind that if you've got an 8-speed cassette or freewheel, then you've got a double chainring or a double chainring or a triple chainring. So you've not got an 8-speed, you've got a 16-speed or even a 24-speed. But a real cyclist would never call it that. But a real cyclist would definitely ride a Tomasini. Beautiful frames. Beautiful frames. Now, back in my day in the 80s, I would have taken a Tomasini over a Colnago or Colnago, however you want to pronounce it. Ben says Sean's tribute to Rusty was tremendous. Brought back memories of our dog, Sabre. Had her from age 1 to 16. It was a lovely tribute. It was really, really touching, simple but touching. And the montage at the end, that must have taken a bit of putting together in quite quick time. For those of you who don't make films, if you try to trying to put together bits of footage from multiple videos that could be years old, oh, doesn't have to take some doing. Stephen S. Paul. Trace says, can Sean get Boaty in his garden / small holding and film a collaboration of Boaty doing his best Jeremy Clarkson's farm, where just nothing gets done and lunch gets eaten? I could do that. Right. Okay. Gurkha Palace, absolutely correct, Stephen S. Paul. Bob News. You would, well said, Ben. Bob News. Right, let's check. Okay. Well, Bob is still not working. And I've actually, rather than try to make him work, I've given Bob a period of rest. And I thought I'll keep him turned off for 48 hours and see if that has any effect. But I'm not giving up on him. No, sir. Not giving up just yet. I'll give him a couple of years. Because I can't think of what else I would put in his place, to be honest. Oh, you've got the route sorted, Neil. Well done. Chat to me after the live. Excellent. Good man. I knew I could rely on you. Hamilton doesn't go to Ferrari till 2025. I know, Jimmy. I know. So we've got this year with him at Merck. That's going to be really interesting. It's an interesting dynamic when a driver is driving out their last year with the team. So you've got Hamilton in his last year with Mercedes, and you've got Sainz with his last year with Ferrari. So it's going to be interesting. Um, I think we're all hoping that this year is going to be a bit more competitive. Um, you tend to get when the rules have been in place for a while in F1, you tend to get the law of diminishing returns. So Red Bull have got an amazing car, but how much more amazing can they make it? Probably not much. Whereas the cars that have been less amazing, they can still put in some, real leaps and bounds. Uh, Frankly, often by copying the leading cars' ideas, replicating things. And so the longer the rules stay the same, the tighter the pack, the grid tends to get. So I'm hoping that this year and even more so next year will be a lot more competitive, and there won't just be Max and Red Bull running away with it. And then, of course, in 2026, it's going to be a whole new show, complete new rule change, and conventional wisdom has it that Red Bull are not going to do so well because they've got no history as an engine manufacturer. So it's going to be all new to them. But we will see. At an old job, says Bad Books, colleague got a call mid-morning that a cat had been, oh dear, run over and died. She rushed home and obviously had the rest of the day off. The next day, the boss gave her a written warning. What a bastard. I agree. One of my favourite YouTube channels, says Jimmy Quinn, is Professional Struggler. He's so funny. Never heard of that chap. In place of Bob, says Trace, an air fryer. Right, okay. That was the first thing that sprang to my mind. And I have been looking at them, but I can't get my head around this air frying thing. And as far as I can work out, they're an oven, I think. That's the best way that I can work it out, that they're selling you this air fryer on the basis that you fry things in an oven. And I've been doing that for years. When I make homemade chips, more often than not, I make them in the oven. Parboil the potatoes, season them, spray them with a really good olive oil, pop them in the oven, low heat to begin with, cook them through, and then whack the heat right up for the last little bit of the cycle to crisp them up. So if an air fryer is just an oven, then why do you need an air fryer? You only need an oven. Or am I missing something? And a lot of what I've seen produced from air fryers, frankly, doesn't look great. A lot of people have told me that an air fryer is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm yet to be convinced. Maybe I should buy a cheap second-hand one and give it a go and see how I get on with it. But I can't understand the concept of air frying. And I strongly suspect that it's just a really small, quite intense oven, and you just oven cook stuff. You coat it in oil and oven cook it. And you can do that in an oven. Maybe it wouldn't be so effective in a great big oven, but as you all know, I do all of my cooking in a little tabletop oven. I've got a big oven. I've used it twice in 8 years. The little tabletop chap, which I've recently replaced after the last one gave a decade of great service. How is that not an air fryer? Or how is an air fryer not an oven? Somebody tell me. I should just buy one and try it. Sean says, I used to work in TV news at ITV and Channel 5, so used to working quickly. My last TV video was shown when the Queen died. Oh, gosh. I did the montage of her through the years, which played directly after the announcement. Right. Would that not have been done in advance, Sean? I thought that, oh, maybe yours wasn't, but I'm sure that, or maybe that was just a radio thing. I know that Radio 4 always said that they had a coded plan in place for when the inevitable actually happened, and that it was something that was practiced and put into place well in advance. It would then run like a well-oiled machine. Although I suppose even that would need to be tweaked and constantly updated, wouldn't it? Wow, Sean, says Trace. That sounds stressful, news and working to tight deadlines like that. But what an honour to have your montage played at that moment. Well, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Very much so. And, a really interesting line of work, I imagine. I've never been involved behind the scenes as such. The only telework that I've been done is being the one with his ugly mug actually on the camera. The closest I got to behind the scenes was working with production companies when I had my entertainment agency and just supplying the particular demographic they always wanted, which for game shows and whatnot. And it always used to be young women because apparently young women never actually applied. So if you watched any game show in the 1990s, after about 1994, then any woman that appeared under the age of 30 was probably under contract to me at the time. And I've told you loads of stories about those days. But I'm thinking of getting an air fryer, but I'm not sure if I like the idea myself. From Sean. Yeah, I can't get my head around the idea. I'm sure there was an early air fryer that used to do the dippy. So you put a small amount of oil in it and the thing rotated a bit like a washing machine or something, so that the food was constantly being rotated in or coated in the oil. And that kind of made some sense to me. But this air fryer thing, I can't get my head around that. I mean, at the end of the day, how can it possibly work? There are only so many methods of cooking. Now, you've got immersion, when you immerse the food in a liquid and it cooks that way. You've got steaming, where you place the food above boiling water or boiling liquid, and it cooks that way. And then you've got whatever the other posh words are, induction or whatever. But I mean, all of the other, it's just heat, isn't it? So if you grill something, you're applying heat from above. If you're frying something, you're applying direct heat from below. If you're ovening something, whether that's baking or roasting, I don't understand the difference between the two, then you're just putting the food into an environment where it's heated from all around. You've got heating elements above and below, as opposed to a grill where you've only got it above, or a frying pan where you've only got it below. And then you've got a fan oven, which is exactly the same thing, but with a fan, so that the heat gets more evenly circulated. So I can't see what an air fryer is. I mean, a deep fat fryer, perfectly simple. It creates hot oil. The food goes in the hot oil. So it's a form of immersion cooking, although a very specific form. So if you're putting food into an air fryer, you're putting food into, as I understand it, a heated environment. So doesn't that just make it an oven? And I do lots of food in my little tabletop mini oven. Uh, and I invariably do what apparently you have to do with an air fryer, which is I have sprays of various oils, some of which I buy, some of which I make myself. I like to infuse olive oil, infuse it with some chilies, infuse it with fresh garlic, basil, whatever you want to do. And I've got various sprays, and you've seen me. I make videos about cooking. You've all seen them. Uh, and I spray the food before it goes into the oven. I'll be doing it tonight and I'll be doing it tomorrow. How is that different to an air fryer? And if it isn't, then by buying an air fryer, all I'm going to be doing is replicating what I already do in my oven, so it'd be pointless. I bet it's just one of those silly, fashionable things that are just rebranded as something else to appeal to people. I'd love to know the actual truth behind it. An air fryer series or attempt would be a good addition to your channel, to be fair. Oh, and that was for me, apparently. I think the same way air fryer. I can't think of any other way to think of it, Sean. Okay. We always practice the Queen's death every 6 months, and the montage was always updated every year. Okay. Okay. It still must have been real panic and action stuff. Sean, let me ask you a question, if I may, and then I will go because I need to let you good people go. Regarding Her Majesty, and for some reason, Sean, I figured you were probably a royalist. If you're not, then I don't know why I think that. I just do. And I most certainly am. I was a huge fan of the late Queen. Now, as you've alluded to, a lot of things have to happen when the monarch passes away. I had a very strong suspicion that when it was announced in Parliament that the Queen was gravely ill, a little thing pinged into my mind saying, I bet, bless her, I bet that she's already passed away. And they build in a period before they officially announce it in order that everything that needs to be put into place has some time to be put into place. I bet, in other words, I bet that there's a delay between the actual passing away and the time that it is officially announced. And I bet you that 4, 5, 6 hours is there to give the TV and radio people the chance to put everything that needs to be put into place, gives the family chance to start arranging travel plans and whatnot. So if you've got any insight into that, Sean, I'd be really interested to know. Maybe I'm completely barking up the wrong tree there. I just remember thinking very vividly that at the point that it was actually announced in Parliament that she was gravely ill, I thought that sounds a bit odd to me. That sounds a bit odd. I bet you that actually she's already passed. And I must say that the aftermath of all of that, it was a time when I was particularly proud to be British. There's a lot in the UK that we do not do well. And there's a lot as a society that we get very, very wrong. Certainly in comparison to other cultures. Our treatment of the elderly is always my primary example. You know that that's my all of my adult life, that's the soapbox above all others that I've stood on, the way that our elderly are treated. And it is genuinely, I feel, shameful in comparison to other cultures where age is venerated and celebrated and respected. And Very few other cultures would do what we do here in the UK and bung our elderly relatives off to a nursing home, passing the burden of care onto people who are paid nowhere near enough money to take on that burden, which is, in my mind, a burden that should be assumed to a far greater degree by the family themselves. And just the way that the elderly are treated generally, it's one of the things that we get wrong, in my opinion, is what I'm trying to say. But one of the things that we absolutely get right is pomp, circumstance, majesty, and occasion. And my goodness me, when Her Majesty passed away, we as a nation nailed it, I think. And gosh, what a fantastic life of service and dedication it truly was. I'm on the 5th air fryer, says Jimmy Quinn. And it's similar to a turbo oven, but quicker. Bad Book says an air fryer is just a quick mini oven. As you have a mini oven, not necessary. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. It's just a small, intense oven. Broiling annoys me. What even is that, says Trace? Oh, Bob, to add to Bad Book, says Ben, the mechanism seems to be okay, but it's not freezing. Has the thermostat gone all fritzy? Oh, I'm not sure. Air fryers are not bad, to be honest, says Joe. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just trying to work out what they are and whether I need one. Because as Bad Books pointed out, if they are just a small, intense oven, and obviously the smaller an oven is, the more intense it's going to be in nature because the heat source is going to be closer to the food. And it's a smaller area, so the heat is naturally going to be more intense. You're hotter in a sleeping bag than you are in, I can't think of, a car. You're hotter in a sleeping bag than you are in a car. Oh dear. I have an air fryer and I swear at it, says Barry. Oh, sorry, you swear by it. All right. I wondered if you had an insight, Sean. I had a text at 3:15 p.m. to say she had died. Officially, it was announced at 6:35 p.m. and she actually died at 3:10 p.m. So I was kind of right. There is a little bit of wiggle room built in there. And Sean goes on, if she had died during the evening, then it wouldn't have been announced until the next morning. Okay, that makes total sense. The feeling was that if it was announced during the night, then oh gosh, really? Gosh. The feeling was that if it was announced during the night, then the suicide rate would increase as people panicked. That would never have occurred to me. That would never have occurred to me in a million years. Gosh. There we are. Well, there we are. Darlings, it is 23 minutes past the time that I should have left you people alone to do your thing. So start saying your good night, and I will just finish off the comments and leave you in peace. It's Thursday night, of course, so that is the last of this week's live streams. I will be catching up with you on Monday, although, of course, there are the daily diary videos and whatnot. There's the Facebook group, Boaty's World. Do join if you haven't already. That's a great way to keep in touch. We've got our WhatsApp community group. But in terms of a live stream, that's it until the big one on Monday night. Although Monday's going to be a really interesting day for the community. It's going to be a long day for me personally, but who knows what's going to end up happening on Monday. The one thing for certain is that we are going to be having visitors at the yard. I'm going to be going on a road trip to pick up the visitors. There will be a lunch video as per normal, and I suspect there will be multiple other videos. There might well be a live stream from the yard during the day, and there might even be a hotel live in the evening. Depends on how the evening plans out and everything else plans out, because I might just hole up with the guys in the hotel and have a bit of a fun night. So say your goodbyes, my love, and I will very shortly leave you in peace. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It means the world. And thank you for joining me throughout the week. I adore this thing that we've got going on. Thank you for supporting me by watching the videos, which I put up far too many of, but I really appreciate you watching them. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you for the comments that you make. Thank you to all of my lovely channel members for your continued support. Thank you to those who sent super chats and super thanks over this week. A big thank you to Skick for his wonderful gift. Yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing that t-shirt. You can believe that. And let's just finish these comments off. Trace says, I was in a pub early afternoon and the news was on TV. And over the course of a couple of hours, news people were gradually moving to darker clothes and then eventually black stroke formal. It became obvious. Yes, I remember that. Now you mentioned it, Trace. I remember that. Yeah, the clothing was a clue, wasn't it? That's interesting, Sean, says Trace. Goes on, Trace. Time of death. I guess that roughly correctly then, as the newsreaders were all black tied from about then. And again, wow, why they wouldn't announce it in the during the night. Yeah. Yeah, that comes as a surprise to me, but does kind of make sense. When was Diana announced? What time was that? That was quite late, wasn't it? Oh, but that was a different thing. That wasn't the Queen, of course, was in a controlled environment. Diana was very much not in a controlled environment, so they would have had to have been open with that very quickly, as it would have just been out there anyway. Bad Book says, Sean, when the Queen died, we drove past Sandringham about 7 p.m. and it was all cordoned off with the police all over it. Goodbye all, says Jimmy Quinn. Jimmy, have a lovely weekend, mate. Take care. Oh, Dino, Dad, Ross has popped in. Hello and goodbye. Good night, chat, and good night, Boaty. John will be in touch plenty over the weekend. Please don't worry about a thing. We will sort out Monday. We'll have a great day. Don't even think about worrying about it. And we'll stay in touch on the WhatsApp group. And Neil is organising everything, so it's going to be done properly, not like me doing it. Night all, and have a good weekend, says Paddy Scrotter. Good night all, says Sean. Enjoyed that. Put a smile on my face, and all the best. All the best to you too. Thank you so much for joining us. And we all look forward to your next video. I would have thought they wouldn't announce it in the evening like previous monarchs' deaths weren't, says Trace. They wanted a proper nationwide knowing hitting the stands at the right time. Oh, thank you, Sean. Lovely to meet you, says Trace. Night all, says Bad Books. Ta-ta for now, says Barry. Have a good weekend all. See you on the other side. Good night all. See you ASAP. Oh my God, I must get some wine in for Monday. Monday's going to be amazing, Trace. Don't you miss it. Good night all, says Steve Ness Paul. Joe, good night all. Have a fabulous time at the yard. Oh, title. Nobody's given me a video title tonight. But Ben has now. Video title: Air fryer. Boaty's biggest fan. If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window, said the stalker. Okay. Okay, Sean. Yeah, of course she wasn't. So, yes, that makes sense. And that's why they can announce it immediately. Yeah. Right. Comments caught up with. We are all done. Darlings, thank you so much. Thank you for being there. And please have a safe and peaceful night. Take great care of yourselves, especially those of you who have got things going on, slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that are battening down. Very best wishes for those that have got things coming up, particularly on Monday. You know who you all are, and we are all going to be with you. So have a safe and peaceful night. Much love to you all, and I can't wait to catch up with you next time. Thank you again, and good night. Oh, and of course, for Chew, and indeed, Bosh. Good night, loves.